Change is something we all experience. Sometimes it arrives like a gentle breeze, and other times like a storm. But whether we seek it or not, change is inevitable. The question is not whether change will happen, but how we respond to it. Embracing change is not about ignoring fear or discomfort. It's about choosing to move forward in spite of it. It's recognizing that growth rarely happens in comfort zones. Each challenge, each transition, each new chapter offers us an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to redefine what's possible. We grow stronger by being adaptable, more creative through uncertainty, and wiser with every experience that stretches us. By embracing change, we open the door to progress, transformation, and success, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. Let's welcome change with open minds and courageous hearts. 1. Change is inevitable. Change is a constant in life. It's one of the very few things we can count on. From the moment we are born, change becomes a part of our journey. We grow physically, emotionally, and mentally. Our environments shift, technology evolves, relationships transform, and the world around us continuously moves forward. Whether it's the seasons shifting, industries evolving, or personal circumstances changing, nothing stays the same forever. Many of us try to resist change because we associate it with uncertainty, loss of control, or fear of the unknown. But resisting change is like trying to hold back the tide with your hands. It's not only impossible, but it also exhausts us and holds us back from progress. Understanding that change is a natural and unavoidable part of life allows us to prepare mentally and emotionally for it, rather than being caught off guard or overwhelmed. In history, those who adapted to change survived and thrived, be it businesses adjusting to market demands, individuals learning new skills, or societies evolving with new ideas and values. Likewise, in our personal lives, we can trace our biggest lessons and breakthroughs to times of transition. Starting a new job, moving to a new place, losing something we valued, or gaining something unexpected. Acknowledging that change will come, whether we want it to or not, shifts our mindset. Instead of dreading it, we begin to accept it as a part of growth. When we embrace the fact that nothing is permanent, we become more present, more resilient, and better prepared to navigate life's unpredictable journey. 2. Adaptability is strength in a world that changes rapidly, where industries transform, technologies evolve, and life can shift overnight. Adaptability has become one of the most important strengths a person can possess. Being adaptable means being able to adjust to new conditions, reframe challenges, and remain effective in unfamiliar or evolving situations. It's not about having all the answers, it's about being open to finding new ones. Adaptability requires a flexible mindset. Instead of rigidly clinging to the way things used to be, adaptable individuals approach change with curiosity and a willingness to learn. They understand that clinging to old methods in a new situation often leads to frustration and stagnation. In contrast, those who embrace change as a chance to grow are more likely to succeed, even when the path ahead is unclear. This strength is especially vital in today's fast-paced environment. In the workplace, adaptable employees are the ones who handle sudden changes in priorities, shifting market conditions, or new technologies with confidence. In personal life, adaptability helps us cope with unexpected events, like the loss of a job, a move to a new city, or major life transitions, without falling into despair or paralysis. Adaptability also improves emotional resilience. When we allow ourselves to pivot, to adjust expectations, and to respond constructively to obstacles, we become less vulnerable to stress and anxiety. Instead of seeing change as something to fear, adaptable individuals view it as something to manage, an ongoing process that they can influence rather than a force they must endure. Ultimately, adaptability isn't just about surviving change. It's about using it as fuel for creativity, innovation, and self-improvement. The more we practice being adaptable, the more prepared we are to face whatever comes next with confidence and calm. 3. Growth comes through discomfort. Growth is rarely easy, and it is almost never comfortable. Whether it's learning a new skill, stepping into an unfamiliar role, facing a difficult truth, or making a significant life decision, Growth often demands that we step outside the safety of what we know and into the discomfort of the unknown. It challenges our routines, our confidence, and sometimes even our identity. But it is precisely within this discomfort that transformation happens. We often desire growth while secretly wishing we could skip the difficult parts. But imagine a seed. Before it becomes a plant, it must first crack open. Breaking that uncomfortable process is necessary for it to sprout. The same principle applies to us. Without pressure, challenge, and discomfort, we would likely remain the same, safe perhaps, but stagnant. Think back to a moment in your life that changed you for the better. Perhaps it was a difficult job you didn't think you could handle, a conversation you were afraid to have, or a decision that forced you to leave something behind. While those moments may have felt intimidating or even painful at the time, they likely taught you something important about your strength, your values, or your capacity to overcome. Discomfort pushes us to confront our limits and question our assumptions. It forces us to build new strategies, develop emotional strength, and become more resourceful. Athletes train until their muscles ache because they know that only through resistance do they build strength. Likewise, personal and professional development requires us to stretch beyond what feels easy or familiar. Rather than avoiding discomfort, we can learn to interpret it as a sign that we're growing. It may not feel good in the moment, but it often leads to long-term gains in confidence, skill, and clarity. When we embrace discomfort as part of the journey, we stop seeing it as a problem and start seeing it as a partner in our progress. 4. Fear is natural, but not a stop sign. Fear is a natural and deeply human emotion. It's hardwired into us as a survival mechanism, alerting us to danger and helping us avoid harm. But in today's world, fear often shows up in situations that are not life-threatening, like public speaking, changing careers, starting over, or stepping outside of our comfort zone. While fear can be a helpful signal, it becomes a problem when we treat it as a barrier that prevents us from moving forward. We often confuse fear with a sign that we should stop, but in many cases, fear is actually an indicator that we're about to grow. The things we fear the most, failure, rejection, uncertainty, are also the things that tend to accompany meaningful change and progress. If we always waited to feel 100% ready or fearless before acting, we might never take the first step. Everyone experiences fear in the face of change. Even the most confident, accomplished individuals feel uncertain when venturing into the unknown. The difference is in how they respond to that fear. Instead of letting it paralyze them, they choose to acknowledge it, learn from it, and move forward anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of it. Fear can even be a useful teacher. It can reveal what we truly care about. If you're afraid of failing at something, it usually means it's important to you. If you fear judgment, it may mean that you're stepping into a more authentic version of yourself. By examining our fears rather than avoiding them, we can uncover deeper motivations, clarify our goals, and ultimately use fear as a guide instead of a roadblock. Living a life dictated by fear leads to regret. Regret for the chances not taken, the words not spoken, the dreams not pursued. While fear may always be part of the equation, it doesn't get to write the final answer. When we learn to feel fear and take action anyway, we begin to reclaim our power, and we set ourselves up for growth, confidence, and transformation. 5. Every change holds opportunity at first glance. Change often feels like a disruption, an unwelcome interruption to the familiar patterns of life. It can bring discomfort, uncertainty, and even loss. But beneath the surface of every change lies potential, an opportunity to learn something new, to build something better, or to see life from a different perspective. While change may close one door, it almost always opens another. The key is being willing to look for it. Opportunities through change don't always appear immediately. Sometimes they're hidden in challenges that force us to think differently or act boldly. A job loss, for example, might initially feel like a setback, but it could be the push someone needs to pursue a passion, start a business, or explore a new career path. Moving to a new city might feel like being uprooted, but it could lead to meeting lifelong friends, discovering new strengths, or finding a deeper sense of independence. History and innovation are full of examples of people and organizations that transform difficulties into defining moments. Businesses that pivot during economic downturns often emerge stronger and more agile. Individuals who face adversity often develop resilience, wisdom, and character they might never have cultivated in easier times. Change invites us to adapt, but it also invites us to evolve, to become something more than we were before. The mindset we carry into a time of change plays a powerful role in how we experience it. If we see change only as a threat, we may overlook the doors it opens. But if we train ourselves to look for opportunity, even in the midst of chaos, we begin to find it. We discover new skills, new passions, and new possibilities that we may never have explored otherwise. Every change, whether chosen or unexpected, has the potential to become a turning point. The challenge is to be open-minded and courageous enough to search for the good within it, to ask, what can I learn from this? Or what new path might this reveal? In doing so, we transform change from something that happens to us into something that works for us. 6. Perspective shapes experience. The way we perceive change, how we interpret and mentally frame it, has a profound impact on how we experience it. While we may not always have control over the changes that occur in our lives, we do have control over the lens through which we view them. Perspective is what determines whether we see change as a threat or as an opportunity, as a loss or as a new beginning, as a setback or as a setup for something greater. When we face unexpected or difficult changes, our instinct might be to resist or dwell on what we've lost. That response is natural, but it's not the only option. With a shift in perspective, we can begin to see those same events through a different light. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can this teach me?" or "How can I grow through this?" These questions don't deny the difficulty of the moment. They simply reframe it in a way that empowers us rather than defeats us. Perspective is a powerful tool because it influences our emotions, our decisions, and ultimately, our outcomes. Two people can go through the same situation and emerge with entirely different experiences, not because the situation was different, but because their mindset was. One may see a layoff as the end of stability, while another may see it as the beginning of reinvention. One may view failure as proof of inadequacy, while another sees it as essential feedback on the path to mastery. Adopting a constructive perspective doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what you can control, what you can learn, and how you can grow. It means training your mind to find meaning in hardship and purpose in pain. It means recognizing that our stories are still being written, and we have a say in how they unfold. Moreover, the perspective we choose can influence those around us. When we approach change with a positive, open-minded attitude, we inspire others to do the same. We create a ripple effect that turns uncertainty into shared possibility and fear into collective courage. Ultimately, perspective is not just about seeing the glass as half full. It's about realizing that we hold the power to refill it. 7. We're all capable of reinvention. One of the most empowering truths about being human is that we are never stuck being who we were yesterday. No matter our age, background, past mistakes, or current circumstances, we all have the ability to reinvent ourselves. Reinvention is not about abandoning who we are. It's about evolving into a fuller, truer version of ourselves. It's about taking control of our narrative, especially during times of change, and deciding what comes next. Many people believe that reinvention is something only a few people do, entrepreneurs, artists, or risk takers. But the reality is that all of us reinvent ourselves at different stages in life, whether we recognize it or not. When we switch careers, return to school, move to a new place, start a family, or recover from loss, we are actively reshaping who we are and how we engage with the world. What holds many people back from embracing reinvention is the mistaken belief that they have to have everything figured out before they begin. But reinvention doesn't require perfect clarity. It only requires a willingness to begin. Small shifts in habits, mindset, or goals can lead to profound transformations over time. The courage to try something new, to think differently, or to take a step in an unfamiliar direction is often the seed from which reinvention grows. It's also important to understand that reinvention is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong process. As we grow, our interests change, our values mature, and our dreams evolve. What fit us 5 years ago might not fit us today, and that's not a failure, it's a sign of progress. Reinvention gives us permission to outgrow old versions of ourselves, to shed limiting beliefs, and to reimagine what's possible. Reinvention also honors the idea that identity is not fixed. We are not defined by our past, our titles, or our circumstances. We are dynamic beings with the power to redefine ourselves again and again. Whether we've faced setbacks, made mistakes, or simply reached a point where we crave something different, we always have the ability to choose a new path. This mindset is especially powerful during times of change. Instead of clinging to what was, we can ask ourselves who we want to become. We can use change as a catalyst to unlock hidden potential, discover new strengths, and align more deeply with our true purpose.